right, y'all. My name is David Brown-Dawson. I am the founder of LeadCommGym and Palm. So LeadCommGym helps leaders get healthy, improve performance, and maximize their impact. So all about leadership development, executive coaching, and team performance. Yeah, so we work with teams, get them healthy, get them maximizing their impact. The other side is Palm, and with Palm, we help leaders know, grow, and keep their best people. I'm excited to be with you real quick. I want to take a few minutes to step through this idea of CLEAR, specifically the CLEAR Achievement Tracker. I'll give you the background origin story. I'll step you into the spreadsheet. I'll then step you into the LLM or gem that I created. And then the last iteration of it, or the last piece, is to say, hey, this is part of why we built Palm. And so if you want the spreadsheet that I'm going to be sharing, just let me know. Just type CLEAR, let me know. We'll get that over to you. Actually, you don't have to wait for me. If you go to ownyourgrowth.ai/clear, you can download this sheet, and if you want to do that in real time, you can do that. And as I walk through how it works. So first, yeah, that's the iteration of it. A little backstory on CLEAR. CLEAR came from really reviewing the STAR framework, so situation, task, action, result. You may be familiar with that if you've been in any interviews recently, or if you've interviewed people recently for jobs or degree programs. I've seen this framework used and recommended. I was reviewing it. I don't even tell people this anymore, but in looking at the STAR framework, I was like, there's something missing. And really, there's two pieces. One was this idea of like, how do I express my leadership role? Like, how do I communicate the roles and responsibilities in a way that sets up the conversation around growth and around advancing in a leadership pipeline or in leadership capacity. The other piece was like, how do I capture like what I learned? Like, how do I capture something around reflection? And so as we were iterating and looking at, all right, let me just be very direct. As I was developing CLEAR, we went from STAR to CLEAR, and really it's context, leadership, effort, achievement, reflection. I'll share my screen in just a moment, but I want to give you the context of what are we talking about. This is a framework to more effectively communicate the achievements that you've had in a way that sets you up for advancement. And that can be a new role, promotion, pay increase. So that's the origin story, if you will. I'm going to share my screen now, and let's just dive in. I'm excited. All right, here's the screen. You can see that. This is great. All right, so CLEAR Achievement Framework, right? So there's a lot on the screen, I know, but if you focus on the left side of the screen first, and then we'll go to the examples. So like I said, CLEAR is a modern framework for tracking achievements. So you focus on context, leadership, effort, achievement, and reflection. And really the goal is to help you build a powerful narrative for interviews, performance reviews, and professional and personal development. So to dive in a little deeper as you're looking at this, context, you're describing the situation or the challenge. Leadership, you're defining your role and responsibilities. Effort, you're outlining the steps you took to address the situation. And then achievement, like what did you actually achieve? Like highlight the measurable results or meaningful impacts. Those can be both qualitative and quantitative. And then reflection is share lessons learned and how they apply to future opportunities. This is one of the key, oh my gosh, this in the leadership piece, but this piece is so key because oftentimes in the moment, we're doing the work, we're executing, we're achieving, but we don't take the second to say, ooh, what did I learn from this? What was it that I learned that I can now apply moving forward? And the reason that you want to capture this while it's fresh is so that as time passes, whether it's a year and you're waiting to your next performance review, hopefully not, hopefully the company or organization that you're part of has stopped doing just annual reviews and brought it up to at least biannual, at least quarterly. Really is what I recommend, at least quarterly, if it's not a continuous like iterative cycle. But there's a lot of companies that I've seen that have found effectiveness with 90-day sprints, so quarterly cycles, while providing feedback in a continuous manner. All right. But the goal, the idea is, hey, if I've reflected in real time on like lessons learned and like what I want to do moving forward, then 90 days later or 200 plus days later, when I'm circling back on this, I can really quickly look and be like, oh, I did learn that. Oh, that was a good lesson learned. And especially when we're talking about promotions or performance reviews or job interviews, really they're asking you these questions to see what value you can provide at the next level. And if it's an interview for a new job, they're trying to see, how does your past set you up to add value to our company? How does your past set you up to add value to our company? It's not what did you do just for funsies. It's how does what you did in the past set you up for how you add value to our company. So the better you can answer that for the person interviewing you, the easier you make it for them to say yes to you. All right. So this is when we pull back the curtains a little bit more. So you see the clear achievement framework, you see context, leadership, effort, achievement, reflection, and you also see on this side now this clear achievement framework. So we're going to step through a couple of examples. I like to keep STAR there to show what STAR would say, and then what clear would say. And what I'll also say is it can be more in-depth than 3 to 5 words. But we wanted to keep it structured simply for these examples so that you could see it in real time and be like, oh, okay, I get it now. So let's just go through some. So first, we'll start with the team leadership example. So the situation for the STAR framework, the situation, team missed some deadlines. The task was to improve communication. The action, we introduced a system, and the result, deadlines were met. All right, decent. Now let's try with clear. Context. Deadlines missed. Why? Due to poor communication. Boom, you have context. Leadership, took ownership. Okay. Effort, introduced tools and training. Okay, so tools and training. Achievement, deadlines met and satisfaction improved. Okay, reflection. Learned the importance of proactive alignment. Learned the importance of proactive alignment. Team missed deadlines, improved communication, introduced a system, deadlines met. I'm not seeing anything here that talks about proactive alignment. And this is that next level. This is leadership. This is that next level of, oh, how can what you did provide value to our organization moving forward? Well, if I learned how important proactive alignment is, then this then can easily be flipped. I love this stuff because you can now easily flip it and say, hey, tell me, here's an interview question. Tell me a time that you struggled or that you faced a challenge and how you overcame it. Well, bottom line up front, I learned the importance of proactive alignment. We were missing deadlines due to poor communication, so I decided to take ownership. I introduced some tools and some training, and the result of those, we achieved. What we achieved was we met deadlines, and overall satisfaction improved. And that is how I learned the importance of proactive alignment. Even there, just with the simple words that we have there, of course, we could add more specifics in terms of metrics and in terms of measurable results. What does that mean to have is this employee satisfaction? Is this customer satisfaction? What is this and what is that? How many deadlines were met? How early did you deliver these things? So we could talk about all those things, but I want to give you something simple. That is a simple way. If it's written out this clearly, yes, pun intended, it's easy to then take this and answer any question in that may present itself as these parts of interviews go. All right, so that's one team leadership example. All right, let's go to number two, strategy role example. All right, so STAR framework is situation, sales declining. The task was to provide recommendations. The action, conducted analysis, result, sales increase. Now, I know. If you're familiar with the STAR method, it's not always this simple. It's not always 2 or 3 words. I understand that. It's not even for the clear method. It's not that it's only supposed to be 2 to 5 or 2 to 6 words. I wanted to fit 3 examples onto this screen so you could see different ones, and just know you can go even more in depth with each one, as you'll see in just a moment. So, but for the strategy one, we just talked through the STAR framework. The result was sales increased, right? And of course, you could say, you could have a number, a metric to that. Clear framework. Context, sales declining. Why? Due to competition. I love context because it's like what's happening and why. It allows that next layer. And yes, you could kind of get there with situation. Like, what's the situation? Well, the situation is that sales are declining. Got it. Okay, what's the context? Well, we've done a little bit extra work and sales are declining due to competition. All right. So what happened? All right. So I led the analysis and presented. Okay. What was the effort? Well, we conducted surveys and built strategies. We ultimately achieved, our achievement was that sales rose by 15%. The thing that I'm taking away is I learned the power of data-driven collaboration. Now, again, I'm not going to go through the example, but if somebody asked you the question of like, what did you achieve this year? And you're able to articulate this, like, hey, the context, because again, you're not just talking about what. Situation often is like often how it's used is, hey, this is what's happening. Tell me what's happening. Context is what's happening and why. What's happening and why. So instead of just saying sales declining situation, context is sales declining. Why? Due to competition. All right. So this is just another example, and then we'll go to a real estate finance example. And this is one that I like because it reminds me of my previous role. Different in terms of like what actually goes on, or what I did, but it's not true. Yeah. Anyway, we provided capital. This one's more so from the standpoint of looking for capital and securing capital. Anyway, all right, so situation, again, we start with STAR. Funding needed for a project. All right, that's the task. Cool, or excuse me, that's the situation. What was your task? Well, I built a financial model. I compiled data, and the result was funding was secured. Got it. Okay. Context. $50 million of funding is required. Cool. All right, what's your leadership? I own the model development. What did you do? Like, what were the steps that you took? Well, I built a pro forma and I aligned the assumptions. Okay. And what was the achievement? Well, we secured funding and broke ground. And the reflection is, man, I gained insight on blending technical skills with storytelling. And again, when we're talking about the clear framework, this is where it just separates itself from STAR. It really does. And like I said, I don't even like saying that I created it. Because I want it to be ubiquitous. I actually want, my goal is that clear over the next few years becomes more useful and used than STAR, because people recognize just how powerful it can be when you highlight leadership and you highlight reflection. So that's the clear method. Man, we got the clear achievement framework. We got the examples. Now I want to take you into, like I said, we start with STAR, we go to clear, we look at the frameworks, and now we look at, so if you download the tracker, you come in here and you see, okay, you see these examples. So these are the exact examples that I used. Now, what I want to show you, again, you can add to it and you can say, all right, man, there's so much stuff that's happened. I want to capture it here. And let's see, what do I want to happen next? This is where it gets fun. Now, showing you the spreadsheet, I'm going to take you to not the GPT, the gem that was created to make this so much easier. And then I'm going to show you, I'm going to finish off with palm and showing you how this clear achievement framework is just one piece of your palm portfolio, of your career portfolio, both as an individual. And can you imagine if you're a manager and you're leading people and teams? I want you to imagine how you do it today first, right? Like, what do you do today? How do you know what your people are doing and what they're achieving? What do you do today? Is it, hey, I get an email update, or maybe we get a meeting where they tell me what they've done. Um, how beautiful would it be if you had a spreadsheet like this that you could use to capture, or even easier, that your team members are putting in the information, and then you're getting the notifications that, hey, there's an update. Oh wow, my team member has updated this, and this is their achievement. These are their feedback. This is their feedback. These are their goals. I'm telling you, stay tuned, because that's what we're getting to. But first, let me show you this real quick. So, of course, you can add stuff here. But you ready for this? Boom. All right. This is the gem that we built to make this so much easier. And I'll scroll up. So this is me working on, and you'll get to see this real life, real world, yeah, things that I've done over the last couple of years as an entrepreneur. And I think, let's see, I'm okay with you seeing all this. That's fine. So I started out, we built this gem. I honed in on it a little bit, but I'll just show you a couple of the ones that I've done. Hopefully it doesn't give too much information out. So let's do this one. All right, this is a great test, because you'll be able to see in real time how easy it is to communicate with Clear. So this achievement occurred. This was something that I don't even need to read it. I'll literally just read it. So the UC Berkeley College of Engineering's Laboratory Infrastructure Lab, and the ASUC, the student government, needed targeted leadership and communication training for their teams. Both groups sought to improve self-awareness, team collaboration, and communication skills. What did I do? Well, what was my leadership piece in this? Well, as a leadership development trainer, I designed and delivered custom workshops tailored to each team's specific needs. I was responsible for facilitating the sessions and ensuring the learning objectives were met. Okay, so what did that actually look like? Well, for the Laboratory Lab, I curated a 2-day retreat, in partnership with their manager, with their director, for a 10-person team. I delivered sessions on team building, the working genius, and feedback management. For the ASUC, I delivered a 90-minute, it may have been 110 minutes, but a 90-minute session to 50 student leaders on effective communication and intentional leadership. And then this is another aside, but this is all wrapped into UC Berkeley. I also provided coaching sessions for the Black Wellness Weekend. So that's a third group, but all bundled under the work that I've done for UC Berkeley. The achievement, well, successfully trained over 100 individuals across multiple engagements, providing them with practical tools, frameworks for improving self-awareness and team dynamics. The workshops were highly rated, and the content helped foster healthier communication practices and improve team collaboration within the student organizations. All right, so what's the reflection? Well, this experience highlighted the universal need for foundational leadership skills, regardless of career stage. I learned that tailoring content to a specific group's context, from academic labs to student government, is critical to making the lessons personally relevant and impactful. So I'm telling you, this is like within my first few months of going full-time with entrepreneurship. And I think this is so important. Yeah, I'm sweating a little bit. I need to open this window. But I think this is so important because it so clearly articulates the value that's being provided. And all I have to do now that I have it is boom, take this, add this here. Now I got the context. I go leadership. And again, this is what you get to do, and kind of how I got here was I just threw in, I answered a bunch of, I'll show you with the new one, but I all you really have to do is answer the questions that the gem is asking, or the GPT, if you will, but the gem. And then it then takes those questions, and this is how we built it because we wanted to make it even easier. It then turns it into the framework, right? It brings it into the framework. And so some of these things, so you'll see some of these things are highlighted, and that's part of it. We wanted it to I wanted to highlight it. You know what? Oof, this is a coaching moment. If you do something and you build something, own it. The website to download this tracker is ownyourgrowth.ai/clear. If you go to /clear, you'll be where this is. I just had a moment where I keep saying we from like a team standpoint, but I can also be direct and say I built the gem. I trained it so that when you use it, it is as useful as possible. One of the reasons we put stuff in bold and we have stuff bracketed is when it comes to numbers, it gives you one more chance to just make sure that the number is right. So I think in this case, this number for those events would probably be, I'd say I feel more comfortable saying 70 to 80. I think that's a more accurate number, which is fine. So I can go in and change that. But that's why this is bolded with a bracket. All right. So I've shown you, and I just want to, all you have to do here, and I'll just go ahead and do this for a few of them, is make sure the text wrap is on there. Again, this is how easy it can be. Once you have all of it, you can simply copy, boom, paste it in there. Then I got 2 more. And again, I can leave them in there and you'll see that the stuff is still bolded, and that'll give me a chance to go back and just make sure that I have all of this. I have all the changes that I want to have. All right. And then you'll see like 50 student leaders. Is this, yeah, who it's kind of, it's really just trying to give me a chance to hone in on who was it? Is it professors? Is it student leaders? Is it somebody else? Y'all, I'm sweating a little bit, but that's okay. We continue. All right, so these are the first 2 steps. Now I want to take you to the final piece, and this is, let's just pull it up because I want to show you the final piece of this. It would be easy to just stop and say, hey, that's what we created. But this is where it gets like, yes, you have a spreadsheet and that's great. But the reality is we want you to have a growth operating system. And that's what Palm is. It is your growth intelligence platform for companies. And for you as an individual, it is your growth operating system. One-stop shop for you to have your goals, for you to identify your achievements, and for you to have guidance. I'm telling you, without diving into a full overlay, like you can click into these and get even more specific next steps to get to your goals. You can interact with Coco, our AI coach, and the beauty of Coco is she's referencing your specific portfolio, so you can ask her things specific to you. So you can ask her to show you your achievements, and she'll do that. And I think this is beautiful. But let me stay focused. Achievements. You go in here. You can click in and you'll see snaps here and you'll see claps here, right? And you'll see clear. I'm telling you, the beauty of this is I did this one with Coco. So I'll click into this one just so you can see it. All right. So this is a clap. I'll show you kind of, I just want to show you overview, and then I'll go into what it looks like to add one. So Palm needed a centralized system to manage outbound communications, blah, blah, blah. So really this is a system. I'm basically articulating that I identified a CRM and a system to use for CRM sales and all that fun stuff. Excuse me. And I used Coco to do it. So Coco basically is like this gem, it helps me like step through these pieces so that ultimately I'm building this and then I can put it, it automatically creates it. I'm telling you, I have not been given this platform the credit it deserves, and that ends now. All right. So if you're starting it, we have snaps and claps. Snaps are, hey, I want to add something real quick. I don't have time to do this full setup of stepping through this. I just need to something quick. That's why it's called a snap. Wow. So you go in here and you type that in. What you can then do, right? So you can say, I hosted or I'll do it this way. I created a video about clear and walked viewers through the full process. Boom. Okay. I can keep it like that and say, yeah, that's a project milestone. And then I can come back. Oh my gosh, I love this. You're probably wondering where it is. Don't worry. It's just hidden right now. Let me see if I can get to it. There we go. Okay. Boom. All right, so I can click into it, and now check this out. Because we knew that people would be more likely to like start with the snap and then want to do a clap afterwards. Boom, I changed it to a clap, and the description is still like that initial piece, right? So now you can go back in, take the time to build out like the full thing. I know what we're gonna do here is add the questions, the prompts that are basically in here to kind of guide, like describe the situation or challenge. So that imagine that's up here so that as you start typing, you can kind of have the prompt with you. But yeah, so that is, I'm telling you, this is the clear achievement framework. Let me go ahead and stop sharing my screen. All right. So we just I walked you through the full framework. I started with STAR, right? Where the origin story brought it into clear how I redeveloped the STAR framework to make it more useful in performance reviews, in promotion conversations, in pay increase conversations, and in interviews for new roles. Really by calling out leadership and by calling out like reflections, what you learned while having that achievement. We walk through, goodness, the spreadsheet version of what is it. We walk through the examples in the spreadsheet, and then not only that, we went into the gem that we've created and that we're happy to share. You can, yeah, just reach out, and if you want it, I'm more than happy to share it with you. But you can, it'll help you step through it yourself. And we finished with Palm. We finished with this achievement tracker that has clear integrated, and if you have the premium version for individuals, you have access to Coco, who can help you walk through the clear framework. Yeah, we did it in just about 30 minutes. This gets me so jacked up, and if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. Happy to answer them. Happy to work with you as you use this. Right now, if you just want to go to ownyourgrowth.ai, you can sign up for a free account today, and you can start building out your growth portfolio. That's what this is about. Sure, you can go to ownyourgrowth.ai/clear, and you can download the spreadsheet. I'm telling you, and if you watch these other videos, you'll see the way that this is truly a growth operating system. Palm, when I say this, Palm is your growth operating system. It not only has a place for you to store your achievements, which we just talked about using the clear method. Man, you can get feedback in the platform or from the platform. You can set your goals, and it'll provide some steps to get to those goals. And quite honestly, the more accurate you are with your goal setting, the better the steps are that are provided. Consider it like your GPS, your goal GPS. There's a few other pieces that I won't bother with right now. I'm just telling you, check out ownyourgrowth.ai. Download the platform, or excuse me, download what am I talking about? Download ownyourgrowth.ai. You can literally create an account in the blink of an eye. It'll take you probably, like, if you actually lean into it, 5 to 7 minutes to onboard, because we ask you kind of some like your past performance, or excuse me, your what you've done in the past, like jobs, things of that nature. Or if you have a resume or past performance reviews, you can upload it there. And then we ask you about where you are today, kind of like where you are, like consider it a brief survey to get a sense of, okay, where are you today in terms of your satisfaction, in terms of how adequately resourced you feel. And then we have the final piece of setting your first goal and walking you through that so that the system calibrates. And like I said, it is meant to be a real-time GPS. So it is taking where you are and where you want to go, and really figuring out what some helpful steps are for you to get there. If you have any questions, I'll do a whole nother video on the goal setting piece and what it looks like to onboard. But for now, thank you for watching. My name is David Brown-Dawson. I am the founder of Palm. That is at ownyourgrowth.ai. And then I'm also the founder of LeadCommGym, which is at LeadCommGym.com. If you have any questions, feel free to drop a comment, and I or somebody on my team will gladly respond. I'm excited that this is in your hands. Looking forward to talking to you soon. Take care.